Hi, my name is Akash Patel. I am working with Suhash Patel and Chirag Patel on this project. I just wanted to give you a little background in front of all three of us before I start the presentation. All three of us are pre-med students, which means that we're looking to apply to medical school. As a pre-med student, you have to take this one course called organic chemistry. Now, I'm not sure if you heard of it, but organic chemistry is one of the hardest classes you can take as a pre-med student. Fortunately, me, Suhash, and Chirag did really well in the class, so we are thankful for that. We decided to start up a little tutoring service to help the kids that are taking the class now and in future years. We primarily did this because we noticed that when we were taking the course, it was very hard to get a hold of certain resources, and the tutors that we used to go to were charging insane amount of money that we, obviously as college students, we didn't want to pay. So we decided to start up this little tutoring service. It's very inexpensive. But before we had this class, before we had this project, we didn't really have a way to get our name out there. We were doing traditional things like putting up flyers and posting on Facebook. Um, we've been beginning to try some of the things that we learned in this class, and it's been helping. So I'm thankful for that. But yeah, let's see. Let's go. A little bit about our organization. We call ourselves RU Orgo Tutoring or RU Orgo Tutor. It's all run by students who have done excellent in the course. In addition to me, Suwas, and Chirag, there's three other tutors that have taken the course with us and also done very well. We provide resources that are not available to kids taking the class on a normal basis. They only have access to notes that are given to them by Professor Boygas, which is the professor of the class. These notes are informative, but they read like a textbook. We provide our students with notes that are concise. They have colorful diagrams to show them, how to do certain reactions and how to do certain mechanisms. So we make all the notes by ourselves. Every note is handmade, nothing is typed. I feel like this gives a certain personal feel to the notes because all of us have different methods and strategies that we use to approach certain questions. So I think this is really helpful that we hand make our notes. We also make our own practice problems. Now, there are practice problems that are available to the student through the course, but those practice problems are not as relevant as students would like them to be. We make the questions a lot more relevant to how their exams are tailored. And since we took the class before, we know how the exams are, so we were able to tailor the questions in that. We usually do tutoring as a group. As a group, I mean, let's say I myself would take 10 students, take them into a room, teach them for 2 or 3 hours. Suhash would take another 10 students in another room, teach them for 2 or 3 hours, and Chirag, and so on. Some students want personalized tutoring, and that's available. Our other three tutors are the personal tutors, while me, Chirag, and Suhash are the group tutors. So it is available on request. So we have a variety of teaching methods that we use. Obviously, the group method is a little different from the one-on-one method, but I think they're both effective in what they do. The weekly group sessions compared to the one-on-one tutoring sessions are actually very different in the fact that, well, number one, the price is greatly reduced because it's a group session. We offer discounts. We encourage students to engage in group sessions because uh, learning with your peers is obviously the way to go in this class. Bouncing questions off each other, helping each other retain information. So we encourage that, and we encourage it through this reduced price. Um, but one-on-one tutoring is also available, and we do offer it at a very reasonable price compared to other tutors around campus. So so because of this class, we have learned certain ways to get our service and also not just market, but provide services for the students that are employing us, so to speak. One way we do this is we use Tumblr because not really as a learning tool, but as a way to boost morale with the students. We provide a lot of comic relief through Tumblr for the kids in organic chemistry. The course is very hard and strenuous and takes a lot on the mind, and sometimes you just need a break. So we made Tumblr so that kids can go on there, they can see all these memes we post up. For example, the science cat, technically alcohol as a solution. It's gotten great. I mean, a lot of people like that meme. um, so we post pictures, we post memes, a lot of jokes about organic chemistry. We try to make sure that the jokes and the memes are related to organic chemistry because we want them to be interactive while they're learning. We just don't want them to uh, you know, learn for the sake of learning. We want them to be interactive with the material. We want them to be engaged. When I took the course, the only way I was able to learn the material effectively was relating it to stupid things and funny things and etc. But I think this is a great tool to help boost student and just to give them a little break, and maybe uh, increase their interest in the course a little bit more through these jokes and memes. I think our biggest tool though is Facebook. Obviously, is one of the biggest things that uh, people use to interact with each other. We currently do have an Orgo Facebook group, which is available to the whole organic chemistry class. We decided to open it up just as a free service for all the kids in the class. The kids that employ us are in there, and they use it as well. But yeah, we use the Facebook. We use Facebook to communicate with a large amount of students in the course. The course has over 1,200 students, and it's the most efficient way to contact them. We have the whole group. They post questions in the group. All of our tutors monitor the group and answer those questions as soon as possible. Um, this allows them to ask questions without feeling embarrassed. I know a lot of people, especially when I was taking the class, felt embarrassed to ask questions because they didn't want to seem inept, or inadequate in front of their peers, and that's fine, but we made this so the kids can ask questions. They also, get to know each other this way. And I think it's great that students taking the same course should know each other because it promotes learning through cooperative, techniques. Um, but yeah, I think Facebook is one of our biggest uh, resources. I include a little snapshot here of the group. Their final exam grades just came out, so they're freaking out a little bit, but they should be fine. We also use Twitter, not in a way to really contact students, but we use it so we can alert kids when are we having tutoring sessions. Um, we have on-the-fly sessions sometime. We have complimentary sessions sometime. It's basically we try to make it as fun as possible. I remember one time we said, um, "Yeah, all right, guys, 3 p.m. Being Arc 103, we're gonna have a tutoring session." Kids started running because they wanted to, get the free tutoring session. But it's great that we have kids running to our sessions like this. But yeah, we use Twitter to alert kids when are we having sessions, surprise sessions or complimentary sessions. We also like to post links to websites. With additional information that kids can go to. There's a lot of websites on the internet that explain reactions and mechanism really well if the student needs something extra than our sessions themselves. We handpick these websites. We make sure that they are consistent with the material presented in the class at Rutgers, so there's no discrepancy between the class and the external material. And our Twitter handle is twitter.com/RU ORGO. So yeah, we have Twitter, we have the reviews, extra material, updates, and memes. We post memes sometime on Twitter too, just to, again, boost morale. Is a good thing that we use. The reason being is that sometimes a lot of the kids that can't make a review sessions because they have class, they have an exam, they don't want to miss them. Once you miss a review session, you miss the material we presented that week, and we unfortunately don't have enough time to review it again the week after. So we do record all of our review sessions. Now, the way we regulate this is that we have it password protected, and we only give the password to kids that are signed up with us. Um, No, I'm sure that, friends share their passwords with the other. I mean, people share their passwords with their friends, but there's not much we can do about this. We just have to make sure that this is a little bit more regulated. We're still trying to find a way to make this more regulated, but we do record our review sessions. Even kids that come to our normal sessions, in class sessions, they like to use the YouTube account because it allows them to refresh their memory, and it also allows them to go at their own pace while learning the material. Sometimes we do a little fast during class, and everyone learns at a different rate. So using the YouTube videos will allow these kids to go at their own pace, to learn the material without feeling that they're behind or anything. We also Instagram. We post pictures of our tutoring sessions, just for fun. Just I guess keep a little scrapbook of I guess our little journey. Um, we also sometimes post pictures of problems that we think will be really relevant to the exam. We post these on Instagram. We tell students to answer the questions in the comments of the picture. So we try to use this platform in order to engage the students into being more, you know, uh, hands-on and interactive with their learning, without just taking a pencil and a piece of paper and writing and writing and writing. Um, because we all know that these kids, spend countless time on Twitter, time on Instagram, countless times on Facebook. So we try to incorporate all of our learning methods into all of these social media websites, because if they're just browsing Twitter or just browsing Instagram or just browsing Facebook, they'll come across the questions, the memes, the posts, and they'll start thinking about organic chemistry. What we want them to have is just, I want them to think about Orgo all the time. I want them to think about organic chemistry all the time. We're using all these platforms to just get that drilled into their head. Yeah, so we post pictures that are of questions that are relevant for upcoming exams. We post pictures for review sessions, and certain announcements that we have. For example, what are review sessions, etc. So we use LinkedIn a little bit, not so much. We just got into LinkedIn. Um, Me, Suhash, Chirag, and our other three tutors, we have 6 resumes on LinkedIn about ourselves, on how we're qualified, our past teaching experiences, our past job experiences. We primarily did this because we were questioned by some of the faculty at Rutgers University about our qualifications. Our qualifications are basically that we got an A in the course, all 6 of us. So we primarily made this just to just to have students at ease, that we are qualified, that we are dedicated students, and that all we want for them is to learn the material in an effective manner the way we did. One thing that we recently introduced into our review sessions is iClickers. So iClickers, the way it works is we have a PowerPoint presentation with questions that are all multiple choice. And the multiple choice is obviously A, B, C, D, and E. On the iClicker, you also have A, B, C, D, and E. So what we do is we open a question, we let it run for 30 seconds, and we tell all the kids to answer the questions. Answer the question. Afterwards, after the question is closed, I pull up a little screen that shows the percentage of how many people got A or B or C or D or E, and then I tell them which was the right answer. So the way it works is, if you get a perfect score on the clicker for that day, you get a free. I'm sorry. If you get a perfect score on the clicker for that day, you get a free review session in the following week. Kids try as hard as they can to get the questions right, but I have to say that I make the questions pretty difficult, so they don't get all of them right. But I mean, it's a great way to learn. It keeps them interactive in the class. We basically started this because we caught kids sleeping during the class, and I just don't want them to waste their money like that, and I want them to learn. So we included this to give them an incentive to learn better and also to be more more participating in the class to participate more. Um, I haven't started this yet, but we do have the idea down to use Foursquare. We're gonna use Foursquare because we found out that a lot of the kids always want extra sessions, and we found the best way to learn is through peers. When we're not available, we want these kids to still work together and um, help each other out with the course. So we're trying to set up this Foursquare app that will let kids know when other kids in organic chemistry are around them. This way, they can just start improv study groups or just ask random questions to each other. This might sound a lot for one class, but trust me when I tell you that this class was the worst class I've ever taken. It it required a lot of memorization, a lot of thinking, a lot of critical thinking. Um, it was just a lot on the mind to take in. So you have to study every day. You have to advantage of every opportunity you have, or it just won't click for you. But we're trying to get this set up, and I think it's a good idea. It might be a little creepy for some students that other students are stalking them, but I think it'll be good for some students. We use Google Plus sometimes. Um, Google Plus is a lot like Facebook. It doesn't appeal to a lot of the people because most people use Facebook, but we do use Google Hangout a lot. We sometimes we do our tutoring sessions over Google Hangout because of weather conditions. Sometimes I remember during January and also in December when we had those snowstorms, we were unable to get to campus. And I didn't want these kids to slack. So we used Google Hangout to contact all these kids, and we had a tutoring session over Google Hangout, and it became a recurring thing. We do it once a month, just so the students don't have to make a trip to campus if they commute, or make a trip to Bush campus if they live, on Cook campus. um, but it's pretty useful, and we're actually thinking about incorporating this into our service where some kids can opt for either the group session, the one-on-one session, or the online session. Giving them, three options would make it, very attractive, I think, to some people. Um, so the goal of our service is just to educate the organic chemistry students at Rutgers. Um, the course has a 50% fail rate, and it's a shame because the course is a key player, and if you get into medical school or not, it's a big key player. I just want these students to do well. There's a lot of bureaucracy that goes on with the class, a lot of red tape that is hard to get around. I noticed a lot of this when I took the class, and I just wanted it to be a better learning environment for the students. Um, there was a point in class where there were no resources I could go to. There were no tutors I can go to. Three professors divided with 1,200 students is impossible. Um, at times I felt that there wasn't enough help for the class, and that's the reason for the failure. Right? And the thing is, the material is really interesting. If you get into the material, it's actually a very interesting course. So the goal of us is just to make these kids more interested in the class and help them to learn it better without them going crazy. Yes, our audience is the students at Rutgers University. We actually got some contacts from uh, students at TCNJ that heard of our service through friends. Unfortunately, we don't teach at TCNJ since we're all Rutgers students. We might think about employing some TCNJ students that took organic chemistry there, and um, they can teach the TCNJ kids. The only problem with that is we don't know how their course is tailored, so we can't really regulate what they're teaching, what they're not. So these are all things that we're still growing, so it's a lot of things that we're thinking about. A location, there are various lecture halls at Rutgers, um, and like I said before, tutoring can take place through Google Hangout. Most of the time, though, it takes place in lecture halls at Rutgers after hours, of course. And the timing is varies based on student needs. Before every semester, what we do is we ask all the students who signed up. We advertise basically in the summer. We ask all the students who signed up when the best times would be, and we take the times that are best for the majority of students. Students that sign up mid-semester have to make way for um, one of our already established times. The only exception to this is one-on-one tutoring. The tutor that does one-on-one tutoring gives various times that he or she is available to the student, and the student will pick from those times. So the only big message we're trying to display here is that collaborating with your peers and your mentors and students in general is really the way to reach your goals in this class. Um, and everyone that knows me in this class knows that I preach that you have to work together to get somewhere. You can't do anything by yourself. There's nothing wrong with accepting help, and there's nothing wrong with giving help. So I just want these kids to know that, and most of them know that because I preach it all the time. So in conclusion, our Orgo tutoring service is comprised of us individuals that have taken the class at Rutgers University and have done well in it. And we can assure you that you will get the best quality service around campus, and that we will help you ace organic chemistry. A lot of our kids go on and do ace organic chemistry and get very high grades. So I'm proud of that. And I just wanted to thank you for this class because it did open up a lot of platforms for us to reach the kids, and I'm really grateful for that. Thank you, and I hope you like this presentation.